Black Chasm National Landmark. It's quite a cave system. And believe it or not, they're still discovering rooms. It's one of the largest volcanic caves found in Central California. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a tour. The Miwoks lived here since ancient times. Their village, they had a village, which I camped out at a month. This Indian village site called Indian Grinding Rock. They have replicas, but the grinding rocks are ancient. And the Miwoks would use this cave all year round until in about 1854 miners from the gold rush had discovered it, and eventually in the mid 1900s the value was realized and they began to give tours here. So I don't know what we'll see, but it has Helictites, which are very rare, only found in 5% of all the caves in the world. And you can see it's a little ways back. I used to camp, like I said, I camped out here for a month and I never seen these caverns. So it's long overdue. And I can't wait to visit this place. And there is a Zen Garden, and when I'm in the Zen Garden, I'll give history. I can't really give history inside the cave. Just to let you know, brief history for now. There's about 20 caves around here. I found some less known ones, and they're all very interesting. Historical, some are harder to get to. But we're here. We're at Black Chasm. We should be the first to enter the caves this morning.
Coupons, they never expire. Alright, I'll meet you guys down there in just a minute.
Stairs and stairs. Today's the day of 300 stairs. 18 chambers, but we'll see 3 today. And 5 lakes and a cavern 2 million years old. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, put this in your pocket. Oh, you can put those pockets. Those aren't even. First documented exploration into this cave was in 1856. It's credited to a group of European gold miners. All the counties around this area, we have Amador, Calaveras, Tuolumne, they're all big gold rush areas, including the town of Volcano. So we had a lot of people walking through the woods looking for stakes to claim, and that's exactly what they were doing when they came across this giant crack. I don't know if you guys can see that little brown door. It's up on the side of that wall there. That's where the crack started. It made its way about 18 feet down to about the bottom of our stairs. So 18 feet by 20 inches. So it was a pretty big crack, you know, pretty nice little gash there in the ground. They peered inside of it, saw that it was pretty much a black abyss. They wanted to know what was in there. They were looking for gold, so that's what they were hoping for. Packed that crack full of some dynamite and exploded the entrance. So the explosion didn't do much except for open up the hole. You guys have probably realized by now that's the entrance to the cave. If you look behind you, you can see some big old chunks of rubble. You're going to notice the color of these rocks is pretty dark, right? Mm-hmm. Looks almost like dark gray, almost black. Well, it's actually a dark blue marble. That's what our cave is primarily made out of. It's this beautiful, beautiful dark blue marble and limestone. So once we get down in there, I'll show you guys some exposed pieces of marble. It is beautiful. In 1979 is when this cavern earned its National Natural Landmark title, which means basically the government protects our cave. Before that, the previous owner of the cavern wanted to tear the whole thing down and mine it for all that marble. So luckily that didn't happen. What saved us was those rare Helictites. So we're still here and standing today. So back to those miners, they packed that crack full of some powder, exploded the entrance, and got this hole. Back in the 1800s, they didn't have the stairs there, didn't have flashlights, all they had was ropes and candles. So you're going to notice immediately as we go in, it's pretty much a straight 156-foot drop down. They made their way all the way up to the tippy top of the ceiling. You're going to notice a lot of broken formations in here, a lot of broken crystals, unfortunately. So it is a little bit damaged, but thankfully they did not find any gold in this cavern, so they did not continue any further into it. So all that damage is pretty much contained in the first room. Anything that looks broken probably is. Everything is formed by water drip. So when the water drips from the ceiling, it's going to drip down in kind of a cone shape, right? So all the ones from the ceiling are supposed to look like cones. A lot of them have straight edges, they're cut off, so they look a little damaged, but like I said, it's definitely still a beautiful, amazing place down there. So they made their way into that first chamber. They actually used to put on their own little tours. They built a couple redwood stairs. You could pay a pinch of gold to go in, pay another pinch of gold to take home formation. So eventually the stairs broke down. They kind of deserted it. They weren't really too interested in it because it didn't have any gold. That's what they were really interested in. So they deserted it, went back to its natural state until that landowner came in. Then the tour company eventually got in here. We've been the stairs got installed in year 2000. So we've only been up here for about 16 years, believe it or not. So we're still kind of pretty new, pretty fresh. So besides that, the cave being made out of limestone and blue marble, this is what the formations are made out of. This is calcite. We have calcite crystals here. So I'm going to pass it around if you guys want to feel it, touch it. It's kind of heavy, so be careful. Doesn't really feel too special, right? It's kind of just like a normal rock, you know, looks kind of like a quartz crystal. They're in the same family. You can tell it's a little bit foggier, a little bit blurrier on the inside.
It's like this.
We actually eat this stuff. It's found in like cereal, Captain Crunch, Fruity Pebbles, things like that. And vitamins. So we actually eat part of the cave. It's going to look a lot different once we get it down in there because it's a lot of different shapes. Some of it looks really, really dark. Some of it looks bright white and sparkly. But at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is that little mineral right there. So, we are now going to start descending down into the cave. I have to warn you guys, the stairs are a little bit steep, a little bit narrow. So if you need to, hold on to those handrails. No rush at all, take your time. Also, the cave is constantly dripping. As it's dripping, it's growing. Don't worry, it's just carbonic acid dripping on us. It's a little scary, right? Like there's acid dripping on us. But it's not strong enough to hurt our skin, but it does eat its way through limestone. So we're going to hang out in the first chamber for a little bit. The first platform's a little bit small. This is a pretty small group, so we'll probably fit perfectly on it. So we'll hang out there for a little bit.
I want some pictures inside. I want some pictures inside. I waited 8 years to go here.
You probably could stole my camera.
18, yes.
I could.
Down, you guys follow right behind me, hold on to those handrails. Usually the second set of stairs is a little bit wet, so just hold on to those handrails, okay? Yes, watch your head.
Don't fall down.
You're gonna notice
Down.
very nice. Come in here, it's like natural air temperature.
A little tight in here for a big guy like me.
Jamie, you're not gonna be able to fit. Oh, so mean.
I can't see. Well, I can see, but okay, that's the last here. It's just like my knee, you know. This is just one of the platforms. Wow.
Welcome, welcome. You guys are doing awesome. Welcome into our first chamber. This first platform's a little bit small, so we'll get a little snug, get to know each other a little bit better. Minerals, and we have our stalactites, our first formations. So these are supposed to have a pointed tip. They are broken. Down in the next chambers, you're going to see some better ones. So our stalactites, formed by dripping water. When the drips from these go and land on the ground, leaves behind little bits of minerals. Another drip will come, start stacking up, and we get these. So this doesn't look like a crystal, right? But that's exactly what it is. This is a stalagmite. This is also one right here. So not too pretty, right? But they are beautiful in their own way. So these are our stalagmites. The way that I like to remember is stalagmite has a G in it, and they come from the ground. Stalactite has a C in it, and they come from the ceiling. So these are both formed by the dripping water. We get a little bit something different when we have flowing water. So look behind us right here at this thing. If you guys have ever been in a cavern before, you've probably seen something like this. This is called a flow stone. So imagine this is water. It would look just like a waterfall, right? It would just look just like a flowing waterfall. So it all starts with one little drip of water, again, coming out of the side of this slanted wall here. So as it dissolves its way through, starts going down the rock, flowing down, leaving behind little bits of minerals. More will come. This is what we get. Calcite is a very friendly mineral. Whatever it touches, it pretty much glues itself to. It marries. They can stick together. So at one time, this was one piece, this was one piece, this was one piece, and this was one piece. So there we had a whole bunch of separate pieces here. If you guys look up here at this entire thing, this whole thing up here is one giant flowstone now. Used to be separate pieces. Over time, that friendly calcite mineral has attached itself to everything, and it's just become one big old giant piece. So these look pretty thick, pretty sturdy, right? For half an inch to an inch takes 3,000 to 5,000 years for 1 inch. 3,000 to 5,000 years, believe it or not. It's insane. So they're very heavy. They usually do not collapse underneath their own weight. Every once in a while they get a little bit too heavy and break. But since we've been in here for about 16 years now, nothing has broken on its own. It's pretty amazing. Next thing I'm going to point out to you guys is this. This big old sturdy thick thing here. So this is called a column. Looks like a column, right? At one time as well, these were separate stalactites up here. There was a stalagmite down here. They have met, grown together, married each other, and now we have this big old thing. It's a column. Very sturdy, very thick. You can see there's a rope attached to the bottom of it. As employees, we don't get benefits, but every once in a while we get to crawl through the cave. So we used to spelunk or rappel down with this rope. Now we use this one back here. So say a light bulb goes out, we are fortunate enough to get to go down and change it. Every 6 months or so, we go pick up things people have dropped, paper, stuff like that. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting job. That guy up there that sold you your tickets, Alex, he's 6'7", 250 pounds, and he makes his way down that little tiny rope too. So it doesn't look too sturdy, but it definitely is. So the next ones I'd like you guys to check out are right up here. Right here. So these are ribbons. All starts with one little drip of water again. That drip of water comes out of the side of the slanted wall and flows down. Another one comes, the minerals stack, 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 and this is what you get. You guys notice the color of these formations is white, and the color of all the other formations is really dark, right? We have a lot of browns in this room. The main reason for that is because these are babies, so these are really fresh. The other ones are a little bit old. This is the only chamber that gets any sun, so they're a little bit sunburnt in a way. Also, the miners were in here crawling on these rocks, getting their oils. When the oils get on the formations, they attract dirt, dust, so they're a little bit dirty as well. So this room's a little contaminated, a little bit sunburnt, a little broken, but it is definitely still amazingly beautiful. So back to our ribbons. These are at their baby stage. You can tell that because of their color. When they get a little bit older. So look down here on the side. Here's another baby ribbon coming down right here. And here's one right here. When they get a little bit older, they turn into these crazy looking things. We call these cave bacon. It really kind of starts, not too much here, but it really starts to wave. Just like bacon, it has a marbling effect. Just like bacon, it's amazing. Down in the third chamber, we have some good examples of that. So we go from our ribbons to our cave bacon. When they mature a little bit more, we get a V'd bottom here, a little pointed tip, and we call them angel wings. So all these formations are very beautiful. Whichever way the water decides to flow down the rock is how it's going to be formed. This little white stuff back here is actually the start of more ribbons. It's pretty cool. Next thing, right below these ribbons, these. So you can tell all this stuff is formed from dripping water. So look at this one. It starts at the base here and shoots straight out and then twists up. So you guys are probably wondering, how the heck does that happen? How does water drip out? Well, to this day, these still have not been scientifically explained. We have about 3 theories of why we think they do this. I'm going to get a little bit more into that in the third room when you will see one of the biggest and most beautiful displays in the West of Helictites. But these things are amazing. They're only found in 5% of caverns around the world. Usually in those caverns that they're found, there's only 3 to 5 of them. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be it in the entire cavern. So we have that number beat just right here, right? Some of them are actually hollow on the inside. This one is completely hollow on the inside. It's called a soda straw helictite. Look over here, and we have this. This is a soda straw helictite as well. If you were to snap that off and drink out of it, you could actually drink right out of it. It's completely hollow on the inside. So these are formed a little bit differently. The carbonic acid that makes up these formations is a little bit weaker than the carbonic acid that makes up the other ones. So they cannot dissolve or eat their way through the rock. Instead, there's actually, it's called hydrostatic pressure, pushing the bead of water through the cracks of the rock. So, look on over here. Here's some more helictites. You can see they're all in a row. They're all coming out of the same crack there. So this is usually how you will see helictites, all in a line, all in a perfectly straight row. Pretty amazing. So that pressure pushes the water through. I'm not going to tell you exactly all about it now, but as it reaches the surface, it actually drips through the inside of the straw. The water droplet travels through the inside of the straw here and starts depositing itself layer by layer.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's a little narrow here. Wow. God, this cavern's huge. Oh, when the miners came here, they claimed that this cavern was big enough for trees to grow in here. Wow. Pretty cool. It's a good picture spot. Here.
Use it up in the gift shop, up in the bathroom. They just told us we can start drinking it. It doesn't taste too good. It tastes kind of like dirty water. It tastes really minerally. But we can use it. We like to say it's one of the last bodies of water left in California. There is a couple things.
That's
to
a
live
big
in.
lake.
So you guys are probably
80 feet deep.
realize by now there's no bats in this cabin, right? No bats, or else we would probably hear them and be getting pooped on. But we do have two main type of creatures. The first one lives down in the water. It's a little tiny shrimp. It's called an amethopod. It's a pretty cool little guy, completely translucent, has no hearing, has no eyesight. It feeds off bacteria and algae. If you look at the top of this stalactite, you can see some algae. Not very many things can sustain life down here in the cave, but algae is one of them.
Is that what was green up?
Yes, yes, exactly, yeah. Also, here's some white speckles, some mold. We call this cave milk. So these are pretty much the only things that can survive down in the cave. Mold, algae, those little shrimps. We also have an arachnid, a little spider. This spider is an awesome spider. It's called a Banksula grubsii. Also completely translucent, about the size of a small grain of rice. Has no hearing, has no eyesight. It is one of the only vegetarian spiders to exist in California. Yep, it feeds off the algae and bacteria, stuff like that. Also, that spider, it used to be in the harvestman spider family, which is daddy longleg. It's a single segmented body with the legs, a little tiny thing. Has adapted itself over the years to live in cave life. So now you will not find that spider anywhere else in the world but in this cave. All it is that calcite mineral. It's pretty cool. It's a flowstone, goes all the way up. You can kind of see how flowstones start out as separate pieces at one time, and then they grow together. So as this room drips, it's growing. Our cave is classified as a dissolution cave or a metamorphosis cave, which just means it's constantly changing. We extend pretty far. We go about a mile more directly underneath the earth. So far they've found those 18 chambers. We're kind of layered. It like goes down in a slant. We're layered. So there's layer, lake on top of lake. It's pretty cool. Also they've discovered those 5 bodies of water. In the future, we're gonna, in the year, we're gonna be putting on that adventure tour where you guys can get suited up and go crawl around the cave a little bit. But also they're talking about hopefully extending the staircase to possibly go down to the lake here. And in the 3rd chamber, there's another little chamber above called the Dragon's Lair, so maybe we'll be able to go up there in the future as well.
Is this chasm being actively explored?
It is, but it's really hard, it's privately owned, so the guy that owns it is pretty strict about it, and he only lets like biologists, geologists, and stuff like that come in. There is a group of excavators, Hazel Brown or Barton. That's her last name. She's like a famous cave explorer, and she came in here. She was the one that discovered those 18 chambers, and that was in the year 2000. So that was a pretty long time ago. Since then, there hasn't been anyone exploring it. Every 6 months or so, we have scientists come in, take samples, see if there's any new growth, any new life. But yeah, hopefully one day someone will be able to go see if there's any more chambers. You know, as employees, we get to go crawl around a little bit, but there's all these laws. You know, you have to be covered head to toe in a bodysuit. You have to have like 2 feet between you and all formations, which is really hard at sometimes. You know, you have to crawl through little cracks, like with your shoulders only. So it's fun. You know, it is an interesting job. But hopefully in the future, we will definitely be able to continue their exploration. Who knows, do they think that there might be another entrance? So far they've only found the one entrance, one way in, one way out, but who knows, there could be another entrance in here. We also think that it might connect to another cavern, possibly. So there is a lot more to find here, a lot more to learn. It's a pretty amazing place. Before we make our way down into the 3rd chamber, if you look directly right here, you can see it yet.
How deep is this? 80 feet?
80 feet
Wow.
and 100 feet across. Last
That's
time
pretty
we went
big.
down there, we took a blow-up raft and rafted across it.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I've been on that lake. You can actually see the raft if you look like right there. See it? There's the raft right there.
Oh, wow. That's a
Yeah.
long ways down.
Yes, it is. It is.
Wow. It's a big chamber.
Right, welcome to our landmark room, or the landmark chamber. You guys can see how beautiful this room is. It's a lot bigger. Stand wherever you would like. I'm going to stand up here and point some cool things out. So, this room is huge. You can see how big it is. First thing I'm going to have you guys check out is the ceiling.
Oh, man.
Full of those soda straw helictites that have
Wow.
plugged themselves up. Remember, they're completely hollow on the inside. A little tiny grain of sand can plug them up. Usually the water travels through the inside. When they get plugged up, start spilling over the outside, and they change shape. So they turn into stalactites, actually. So that's what pretty much all these other roofs are doing. They're changing shape. They look very, very beautiful. Kind of look like rock icicles. It's just amazing. You can still see some of the little tiny skinny soda straw helictites up here as well. It's just pretty amazing how these things can change shape and do what they do. It's been so thick, so
It's another
nothing,
chamber.
no water can dissolve its way through. 250,000 years now,
Whoa.
water always wins, so eventually it will find its way back in here, but until then, it's not growing. The helictite wall, which I'm going to turn on in just a
It's another
minute
room.
here,
There's a bunch of
actually
rooms.
has a lake. Do not grow that way. They only grow straight up and down. So at one time, the
Wow.
this rock must have been along this wall. So that's what they think. Everything's estimated. Here's his head, his neck, and his wing. So his head, neck, and wing. He's estimated to be about 10,000 years old. He is our little mascot. So these are a little bit faster growing than the other formations. For half an inch, the helictite is right here. See how it curves and then shoots straight up. It's pretty interesting how they do that. And they're also pretty translucent. As I shine my red light on it, it like just goes through it, you know? They're really cool. This one kind of looks like a big old sword if you were to break it down. So up here, right here, is a family of blossoms. Below it, we have another flowstone. We call this our macaroni and cheese flowstone. The color is pretty unusual, orangish yellow. Very, very amazing. You can actually see how it starts out as separate pieces and then starts growing together. It's pretty cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How big is the dragon's lair?
It's not very big. If you crawl up, when we start doing the tours, we're only going to be able to take about maybe 8 people up there at a time. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
not very big. It's like the first chamber,
Uh-huh.
a little bit even smaller.
Oh, okay.
So right as you directly go up there, you can kind of, we might even have to do something where you lay down because the formations like are so low. So
Wow.
they're trying to be pretty creative and figure out a way to do it. But it is beautiful up there. You can just see how amazing it just looks. Right here, this one is pretty. It's like a big old little white sparkly thing of snow. It's awesome. Right here we have a drapery. Pretty cool looking. Flows down. Formations out of styrofoam. There's actually one on the back deck. Big old formation out there made of styrofoam. And there's one inside the gift shop. So those were in the movie The Matrix. So if you guys watch that movie again, that's Black Chasm Formation. It's pretty cool. As I shine my light on it, you can see it gets a little bit weird colors on the tip. We think that's because of the artificial light, unfortunately. So hopefully in the future they figure out a way for it to stop doing this, because it would just be so horrible for this, to die. At this point, this chamber is dormant, so it is kind of dead a little bit, but one day it will continue growing. Water always finds its way back in. You can get a little bit more. Limestone is sea sediment and compacted dead sea creatures, so it actually was in the ocean as well as one time. When it's forming, little bits of iron get left behind in the rock. Years and years and years go by, and it starts excreting itself out of the rock. It's so weird. So it's actually iron just pushing itself out and starts flaking out of the rock. Pretty weird. It's called boxation. I'm learning about it right now, actually, so I don't know everything about it, but it's just pretty amazing how these caverns, do what they do. Along here, there's a little hole. So the only way that hole only lets you go to these 2 chambers. If you want to access any more of the cavern, you have to go through the second chamber down that road. The rest of the cavern extends about a mile more directly down this way. Like I said, there's no entrance from this way, but a mile more So you're gonna find like what 15 more chambers down that way.
Wow,
More
15.
water. We have a Harry Potter
Lakes.
themed area. We have Lake Slytherin, Lake Slytherin. And that's pretty cool. Right down here we have a little bald eagle's head. Pretty cool. Our weird big old chunks of marble look like they should be breaking at any time, right? A lot of people ask what would happen during an earthquake. Well, this project's been around for 2 million years, you know, so you have
2 million
an
years.
earthquake in that time, but it is one of the safest places you could be, believe it or not. All these different chambers kind of act like a defense. All the earthquake waves come, hit the cavern, all the chambers just disperse all the energy. We have no idea it even happened until we got to the ceiling, believe it or not. Pretty cool. Directly above us right here also is that yellow fire truck. I don't know if any of you guys saw that out in the parking lot. Directly above us right here. So our cars along the way here. We're sitting
Thousands of Helictites. There's no cave in the world that has this many Helictites.
right here, not this light, not this light. You can only see it up the top of the stairs as we get up there. Not this light, but the light right here is pointing directly at a giant tree. Marble.
So if that was cut, would it be blue in there?
It would be blue in there, yeah. So if you were to kind of, all of this wood, so if you were to kind of chip away all this limestone, it would be that beautiful blue marble. So yeah, the previous owner, he wanted to tear the whole thing down and mine it for all that marble, you know. So if that would have happened, we would definitely not be here today. He just wanted the money, you know. He didn't really care about the cavern. In a way, he kind of got the short end of the stick. The government came in. The scientists found those Helictites, saw what a beautiful natural wonder they were, kind of took control of the cavern. He still actually lives here. I'm sure he still gets money from it and stuff, but they kind of came in and took over the cavern because he wanted to tear it down, you know, so they came in here and protected it. He still lives here. He probably still gets some money from it, you know, but, I mean, what do you expect, you know? I'm glad that they saved it because we get to see this beautiful, amazing thing all the time. You know, I love bringing people down here and showing you guys these crazy formations. There's also some cool ones right up here. I forgot to check out some pretty cool looking ones.
It's pretty in here.
It would be
I know.
drapery. If a little water drop started coming out of here, it would drape down. It wouldn't go down like that. So at one time, these chunks must have been up there on that wall. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed your tour today.
Would you mind standing up there and getting a picture?
Yes, definitely. That'd be cool if it went like all the way back, you know? Yeah, there's some more of that rust stuff flaking off. You want me to check it out? Yes, on the third step is the best view. Yes, it goes all the way back there. I know, it's so cool. I know. Well, you might be able to one day. Seriously, keep checking back. Next summer, we might be able to take you guys to crawl around. It is... And it would just be so, who knows, there could be 180 chambers down there and 50 lakes. You know, we don't know. Until we get to fully explore it, we don't know. It's amazing.
Yeah, I hope you guys get those tours.
Yes,
I'll definitely be taking them.
Yes, definitely. Keep checking it out. Also, don't forget, on the top of the stairs, not that light, but the one over to the right a little bit is pointing at that horsetail, or that tree root coming in. That's how close we are to the surface. Yeah, if you want this third step is the best view of it. It's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
And whenever you guys would like, you can start heading your way out. I'll bring up the rear again. Take your time.
These caves are 2 million years old, and before that they were underwater. And I'm willing to bet these caves go for about 200 miles underground and connect with other caves like Mammoth Lakes Cave that goes for 5 to 700 miles. I guarantee you that this cave probably is very extensive. I mean, 150 feet down, and it keeps going. Nobody knows. It's very protected. That's why they haven't explored it, because of the Helictites. But man, this place is like a playground. You could spend years exploring this place. Years. Huh? Oh yeah. They have these shrimp that live in the lakes down here. They're cave shrimp, freshwater shrimp. I don't know. Does that look safe? Probably not. Oh man, I see it. Because the trees grow, the tree roots down here. Wow. From the tree. Huh? Yeah, it's from the lake. The lake's 100 feet wide. It's 100 feet wide by 80 feet deep. There's 5 lakes in here, and that's not even all of them. Look how blue that is. I didn't see it early because of the lights. There's no lights right now. That's the lake down there. Just a little hole leading to the lake. You can raft on it. These stairs are nice and steep. Only a few hundred more steps to go. I got a picture of the lake with no flash, and the water's greenish blue. You wait till you see my picture. All these little chambers. Oh yeah, I want to pick up here at the end here. You can use mine if you want. Here. What light? This one?
Did you guys get lost? Yeah, we're coming on now. Okay.
It's very narrow. I see the light. It's a little chasm in this place. Small little entrance. Oh, wow. From the cave.
This is where I didn't stuff in my pockets.
It's okay. Shh. We're going to take the Zen Garden trail. At least walk down. And this is actually, we're kind of walking over the Black Chasm Caverns. It's below our feet. Nobody knows how extensive it is. There's 18 chambers. People weren't allowed in 3. Next year they'll open it about 5 chambers. And they said they've done exploring, and there is signs that there is more than 18 chambers, and it could go for miles. They said there could be 150 chambers or connect to other caves. Now we know there's a cave system a couple hours from here, 700 miles in length, and it spreads out like a spider. So more than likely, Black Chasm connects with said caverns. There's probably thousands of caverns that are undiscovered in the world. 5% of the world's caves have Helictites. Okay, Helictites, if I pronounced it correctly. Most caves that have those might have perhaps 3 in a cave. This cave, Black Chasm, has thousands. It's phenomenal. It's like looks like a bunch of spider legs and straws all over the wall. And they have a vegetarian spider here as well. It's the only vegetarian spider in the state of California. And of course, the rock that you've seen in the cave is marble. Marble was mined out here. We're in the town of Volcano. It's a semi-ghost town. And they did a lot of marble mining because it's very abundant. It was very abundant in Black Chasm. And of course, carbonic acid erodes the subterranean bedrock. And crystal structures form because the water keeps dripping. And calcium carbonate spreads, forming the stalactites that you see in the cavern. Just drip, 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 and it builds and builds and builds. So you have draperies, ribbons, stalactites, stalagmites, columns, flowstones, angel wings, cave bacon, soda straws, helictites. And you heard the tour guide talking about it. I tried to film her a little. Not too much, because I don't want to give the whole tour away. Just a little bit so people can show some interest. When they give their extreme tours, I'll be coming back next year to rappel down to the lakes. And whatever they have, crawl through little rubes and things. You know, they're still expanding. I mean, it's a federally protected cave system because of Helictites. However, they're still discovering a lot about it. They know very little at this time. We're going off into the El Dorado National Forest. Has always been something that I enjoy, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we get reports in, because I used to camp out at Indian Grinding Rock. It's an ancient Indian village site not far from here. It's probably just a short walk. And I'm going to tell you something about Indian Grinding Rock. They have a Miwok village replica, 300 to 500-year-old trees, grinding rocks where they ground berries and acorns and nuts. And over hundreds of years, it formed these little cupules in the rocks where they ground and eroded the rock away. And I, got to stay at a bark house. They have bark houses. They have a lot of history back there. But this is a pretty area. Just a little nature. I couldn't really do a video because I didn't want to be disrespectful. We had a family with us. But the cave is home to amphipods. They're kind of like shrimp without eyes. They can't hear. And no pigmentation to the skin. And then you have the Bankscula grubsea arachnid, related to harvestmen. It's a multi-segmented body spider that appears to have one single truncated glance, and it has detached retinas, no pigmentation. It's a vegetarian spider, and it's also found nowhere in the world except the Black Chasm Cavern. So underground, there are species out there that nobody really knows about that are always found, new species. Some of the rocks in the cave look like goblins or monsters. It's pretty funny, dragons. But the miners came in through a hole in the ceiling.
Wait, take the trail down.
What trail?
Yeah.
There's a... Huh? Oh, over here? We're going to be going to Indian Diggins. It's going to be a special attached to Black Chasm. Because more than likely, the Diggins probably, if they went down enough, my friend said there's no bottom, but if they went down enough, they could hit other caverns in the area. There are other caves. We've been to the Masonic caves out here. I've been to a few small caves and now Black Chasm. A lot of caves surrounding this Indian village site. See, there's crevices down in here. I was just kind of walking the trail. Where are you?
Everything.
Dude, I forgot my flashlight.
No. It's not a cave or anything.
Just a crevice?
Yeah. It keeps on going down, you can't see. Yeah.
Well, that's how they find chambers and caves.
You see?
It might go down. I found a hole on the other side that keeps going down. Just be careful, dude.
Yeah.
They believe there's another exit to the cave. Or
Yeah, it exits.
Yeah.
Whoa! You have to come down here.
Dude, what's down here?
Oh, dude, it's like... Oh my god, it's sick.
What?
Like, dude fucking live down here. Look.
Dude, there's people coming. Hey, film it for me. Here. Remember, you're the sub-producer now? Of the PGS? Go down and do a little filming.
Okay.
Here you go. I'll hand it. It's filming right now.
Okay, what do I do?
Just film what you see, brother.
Okay,
From another mother?
I got this.
At least not from another dad.
Right? Oh. So, we fucking live down here. Yes. You coming down? And such a nice area. See, like you can just relax. You have shelter and everything. Alright, Dad, I did it! Alright, here. They fucking definitely live down there.
Cool, dude. Thanks a lot. There is a crevice down here. It keeps going down. It might go into one of the chambers. It's a lot of work. We'll go back up. Welcome to the El Dorado National Forest, which borders the Stanislaus National Forest and the Buckalebde Wilderness. So it's a big area. Anyways, folks, as I was saying, let's go this way. So in the 1850s, during the gold rush, when the miners were settling these towns, they were looking for gold. So they'd check rocky outcrops like this, for example, chip away, look for gold. They busted through the ceiling of Black Chasm, rappelled down, climbed. It was 150 feet down. Nobody knows if anybody died. In the 70s, they had a serious injury here from cave exploration. It's dangerous. People can fall, ropes can break. Nobody says there's any proof that the Miwoks were here, but the village is right up the road. Like a 1,000-year-old village site, so they knew about the cave. They would store their deer skids, their meat. What'd you find here? Holy crap, dude. Okay, man. But when they came down, they damaged a lot of stalactites. You could see broken ones, like for example when you enter the landmark room. But the miners said this place could contain trees because they had to drop down 100 feet to explore. And after 2-3 chambers, it said no gold, so they left the area.
You don't laugh at me.
Oh yeah, it's all volcanic rock, I know. There's nothing there though. You might find Bigfoot looking at you on the other side. The Masonic caves have a very similar type of rock and formation, which formed these caves like here. Wow. But you can see by the geology here, it's easy to understand why there would be a cave system. And more than likely, these rocks form caverns. You know, the ceiling for these caverns that are found underground. When I was in the cave, the water was dripping on me. It's not uncommon, but one of the chambers was dry. And the water, they call it Reflection Lake. It's the biggest lake. Back 100 years ago, it was 60 feet. Now it's 80 feet deep based on the water, the snow melt, and so forth. But the miners had gotten credit. Here we go. But the Miwoks would have utilized this cave. They probably had a different entrance. Whoa! Yeah, I forgot my damn light at the vehicle. I don't know what happened. Must have went off in my pocket. Exploring and crawling around. Wow. Well, that's just proof there's dens and caves. Bet you if you chipped through the rock, you'd go right through the ceiling of other caverns. There's never just a 18-room cavern. If it's 18 rooms, it's probably 300 rooms. The chasm probably does not end. Get down there, dude. Take your pick. There's a little chamber or den that Jared found. There's a lot of them out here. Even in Indian Grinder Rock, you might find some rock formations with some chasms. Ow! If you're tall, don't go in here.
Right?
A lot of holes, and wear a hard hat, even outdoors. We're going to go to a few semi-ghost towns today. Indian Diggins and Volcano. Semi-ghost town of Clinton today. Dry Town, Old Chicago. And climb Mountain Butte in Jackson, where I lived for about 3-4 months of my life. And was homeless, but did a lot of outdoor camping and wilderness areas, and it's nice to be able to return and actually get some video and some pictures today. Eventually, they found the cave entrance. It was very small as they came into the ceiling, so there was a crack, and they had slid some TNT in there and blew an entrance to accommodate stairs for tours eventually. And, you know, people would pay in a little bit of gold flakes to see the cave. It was a wonder. After the gold rush, this cave was forgotten. And it was rediscovered later in the 1950s when people were trying to map cavern systems in the U.S. And the Helictites were discovered in the landmark room in 1954. Look, dude, there's something back in here too. It's a rock apes playground. A very old fence. Which is why this area was protected by the government. In 1962, a diver entered the lake reflection. First diver in the lake. And it was, during that time, 65 feet, the lowest it's ever been. And then 80 feet. In 1974, a 6-hour-long rescue occurred. And a lot of owners have, you know, this place has had a lot of owners as well. And this place was almost destroyed. Because the owner who had the land wanted to mine the marble. It's very valuable. He wanted to tear the whole cavern apart. And I think he would have found out that the more rooms he tore apart, the more rooms he'd keep finding. This thing could go hundreds of miles. It's very possible. And that's where you get the whole underground aliens or beings or reptilians out in California, because there's just so many lava tubes and tunnel systems, and people really don't realize that, you know. I mean, there is new life being discovered in caves. They don't even know anything much about this cave. And I mean, the white man, Europeans, been visiting it since the mid-1800s, and now they give tours, and only a select few people are allowed in the world to visit this cave. There's a bunch of federal guidelines. You got to be 2 feet away from any stalactite or helictite. They're protected. But the Owens, Illinois Cement Company owned this And currently the Sierra Nevada Recreation Corporation owns this cavern and many others in the area, including one I'm going to rappel over 100 feet down into, Merced and Moaning Caverns. They also give tours in one of the major caverns found in Angel's Camp, not too far from here. It's like $99 for 5-6 hours to explore it. A lot of these caves have underground lakes, man. You can raft at the bottom. It's so cool. It's one of the safest places to really be. And it is a national landmark as of 1975 by the National Park Service, as it was named, due to the Helictite crystals. And they say it's the best Helictites of the West. It's actually one of the best caves. The quarry company owned the land, was aware of the cave, like I said, but was not aware of the Helictites. Therefore, the government kind of intervened in 1976. And although the quarry company had legal rights, they were not allowed to mine the cavern. Gets a little lost with all these rock formations. Dude, this doesn't loop around. Okay. Wow. It's badass. But as I was saying earlier, because I forgot and got sidetracked, the Native Americans would use caves to preserve the dead until they could, you know, bury them in a mound or give them proper burial. Kept the bodies cool from decomposing 58 degrees. On top of that, you could hunt for deer, and in the warmer buffs, you could store the deer skids, the hides, and the meat down in the caves. I've read the Miwoks were very aware of the caver system, but the biters get credit, not the Miwoks. More than likely, since the village is near here, the Miwoks purposely had their village next to the cave, and they probably had another entrance down into it, not the one that we toured today. Let's keep going, dude. Tammy's waiting. But you can see, wow, look at this. Now, we're not in the high Sierras. We're in the lower Sierras, or the foothills in California. Not even the foothills. It's still mountainous here. But we're talking, you know, 3,000-4,000 feet as opposed to being where we usually generally hike, which could be 7, 8, sometimes as high as 12,000 feet. But it's a cool little trail. Wow, look at that. And they call it the Zen Garden. It's really not a Zen Garden. It's just a series of rock formations from the extreme volcanic activity that occurred millions of years ago, which at one time were all underwater, and today are exposed for tours. They were given tours back in the 1800s, and then the cave was forgotten. The quarry company still mines marble today. They just can't touch the cave. They can mine the marble in the area, though. That's fully legal. It's very nice. We drove through fog this morning, little rainstorm at about 10,000 feet, or 9,000 feet when we had gotten to the top of them. Oh wow.
So smooth.
My God, I love it. That's pretty short, but cool. I bet you if you explore the rocks, dude, you'll find more dens and such. There's a lot of Bigfoot sightings in this area. I've had someone tell me there's a family of Bigfoot that live near here. I bet you they have a secret entrance into those caves, but not where not where humans can get, but like maybe a couple miles down the road where they haven't mapped out the caverns yet, where they can go live on these huge chambers. Dude, these chambers are 150 feet in height. Anything could live there. There's wildlife to sustain a Bigfoot. There's creeks, there's water, there's deer everywhere in these woods. So, you know, you gotta, I think the whole argument for me doing the caves is they believe there's multiple entrances. And probably in, like rocks where we're just at, there's probably holes you can go down into the cave, other parts of the cave system. And there could be Bigfoot-like creatures living in them. I mean, they gotta hide or live somewhere. They gotta be able to sustain themselves in a habitat and remain elusive. If we don't see them out in the open, they're obviously living in a rock shelter or a den or in a cave system. And since the cave system, there's a lot of cave systems like the Masonic caves, which are a little bit extensive, you know. The Masons had, there was 3 caves. There was a general store, a saloon, and there was even, I mean, like the Masonics had built a structure inside the cave and we're having Masonic meetings. And that went 100 feet, 120, 150 feet back. Much as 300 feet back those caves go. And I bet you if you chip through the wall, you'd find more extensive caves that might intertwine with the Black Chasm Cavern. So, a lot to see, a lot to do. It's beautiful country. Okay. So I took some EVPs. Places like these could be haunted. I'm sure a couple deaths have occurred. It's a great place. We're back on the dirt road. It's not as long as I thought it would be. But that's a beautiful little hike. Full of rock formation, spires, hidden dens. You know, just gives you an idea of an example of what a Bigfoot-like creature might, why they might survive out here is because of all the caves and natural dens. Just an example. But we're here. We're going to head off to Indian Diggins and Volcano, semi-ghost town of Clinton, and the cemetery. And then I'm going to cook some Montreal steak sausages. I call them steak, but it's Montreal seasoned sausages with some potato salad. And we'll be all good. So we're going to head out to Indian Diggins now. I have a grill with me today. We're going to cook some Montreal flavored sausages with some southern style potato salad. Once we go to Indian Diggins and stop in the semi-ghost town of Clinton and visit their historic cemetery. The first white men that had eyes on this area was 1848 during the gold rush. And then these smaller towns built up around it. And then the cave did draw in a lot of people and interest. And since then, for over 100 years, people have wanted to explore it. And they still have a lot to learn. Who knows what mysteries remain below my feet. It's Little Rick. Check us out. www. Paranormal Ghost Society. Look at that. I need to go to the cemetery area. And that's where the caves are. Folks, we're going to go to Indian Diggins Cave. There's a bunch of cave systems out here, believe it or not. Some of them only the locals know about. It's more of a mine than anything where they were digging at, but like I say, in these rocks, there's a lot of hollow caverns and chasms. More than often, there's stalactites and open rooms that connect to other cave systems and subterranea. This whole area is riddled with cavern systems. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to park up here at the cemetery. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk. My buddy used to go up here, but we're going to walk up there, and I think it's up there. I don't think it's back here. A lot of walls. We've already visited Volcano, and we have it multiple times on our site. So it's not really necessary for us to walk around Volcano today. Of course, we will come back eventually. I mean, I always come back to this place. I used to live near here. I used to camp up the road, and Black Chasm's just a couple miles from here, so those caverns go all under the town as well. I mean, it's been proven. Some of the mines were natural caverns, and then they started mining them out here. Or, I think it's up there, the cemetery. I'm a little lost, but I will find my way. Look how everything's so green and overgrown this time of year. Flowers everywhere, vines and ivies. It's up on the hill overlooking the town. Let's see. Is there a road to the right? Nope. Alright. I'll take the other way. It's overgrown. I'm not used to it being so overgrown. Nice deer up by the cemetery. There is deer up here. Yeah, we can take Church Street. This deer is going to probably get scared. It's a baby, but cars are not... Deer don't like vehicles coming close at them. They start to jet out in front of them and everything else. Let's see. It's alright, buddy. He's hungry. Yeah, he's not eating too good. I don't know why. The vegetation's thick, but it's brown in some areas. There isn't a lot of water flowing here because of the drought. Yeah, we're in the right area.
I knew we were. I saw the cemetery from the street.
Yeah, it's on that hill. We're going to look for these caves. I'm not sure, folks, how we'll actually find them, but I do know they exist. Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, I know. We're going to Indian Diggins. We're in the town of Volcano. You can see the cemetery right here. The reason why they called Volcano Volcano is not because it's a volcano, but its bowl-shaped landscape or valley looked like a crater, and in the mornings when there was fog, they're like, oh, the volcano is erupting. At least the miners had thought. Gold was discovered at Silver Gulch. So we're going to go look for Indian Diggins. There's a lot of hidden mines back here. The natives, the Miwoks, were almost wiped out. And when the white man came here, Europeans, they put the natives to work. They didn't have nowhere to go. They were relocated or dislocated, or call it what you will, but they were purged from their lands. Their lands were taken. So they put them to work in the mines. And they often were buried. And when they had death or an accidental death, they weren't even given a tombstone. They're just buried off in the woods somewhere. But gold was discovered here at Soldier's Gulch, and at the time it was called Crater City before it was named Volcano. And about 5,000 people lived here, and just... No, we never took it. Christian was with us. And at the time there was a rope across it. She couldn't go. The rope's gone. But there's some rocks, and there's some caves. I don't know if I'll find them. I know there's some huge rock faces. That's probably where they are, behind the backside here. It's just some old mines. They're kind of caves, but they were enlarged by the miners. My friend says there's a shaft that has no end to it, like it's a bottomless pit. Excuse me, it's a bottomless pit. We're on the backside of the cemetery, though. But this town's a true treasure. It's very historic. It's very pretty. A lot of buildings from the Civil War era. Had its fair share of storms, fires, and pretty typical. Some Civil War disputes.
Not enter private property.
First public hanging in Amador County took place here. A lot of firsts. First amateur theater company, first circulating library opened in 1854, first private school 1855, the first astronomical observatory opened in 1860. It's a big town. The historic St. George Hotel, which we investigated, opened in 1854. It's haunted by at least 3 to 4 ghosts. We captured one of them on camera when we did our investigation here in Volcano. My buddy comes back here, and he goes to Indian Diggins cave. He told me about, come hike back here and check it out. Volcano's peak years were 1849, the year of the gold rush, and 1857. Keep an eye on some rock formations up here. They had 17 hotels, 3 bakeries, 2 saloons, a library, a theater, the observatory, dance halls, probably brothels too. And they did hydraulic mining here, which failed. I don't know, dude. I don't think caves are on that hillside.
No.
Unless they're on... Wait a second.
Oh, wait, is that it? That looks like it's it.
That's a fallen tree, dude. Let's go up here for a little ways. They did hydraulic mining, which damaged a lot of the land you see around here, or landscape. Eventually, the hydraulic mining equipment ceased because the high-pressure water jets would wash the gravel and entire mountainsides into the stream. Ow! Within a few days, $8,000 in gold back then was found. Over $1 million in gold was found here. Volcano even had a newspaper, which closed in 1857. Mining continued all the way into 1883. And once the hydraulic mining was made illegal, that was it. Just a little brief history on the town. And I don't know if we'll find these caves. Some people know about the caves back here more than I do. I'm not from here. A lot of locals do. Like I said, my buddy comes back here. Here. Dude, this road keeps going. Why don't we go look over here and just see if there's an opening in the rocks. If we can't find it, folks, it's okay. I just want to kind of show you. I mean, there are more caves and mines and chasms and things back here to be found. And so we're going to be heading off soon to the ghost town of Clinton. We'll have a little barbecue. And then we'll climb the butte, take some scenic photos, and work our way to a couple other semi-ghost towns. I'm not seeing anything.
Either, dude.
This
The road
cave.
goes up there.
Huh?
The road goes up there, see it?
Yeah, but there's nothing out here, dude.
No.
I can't find him. He only knows about him, and the reason why him and I don't talk anymore is because he's telling me who to vote for in the presidential election and knocking me and everything else. I believe everybody should have a right to vote for who they want, and nobody should knock one another or threaten one another or be rude. I won't push my politics on you, don't push them on me. Yeah, I know. It could be anywhere on the hillside. I don't know. But look, see all the rocks?
Yeah.
See the rocky outcrop? Maybe over here. We can come back around to the right and go back down the road. See all those rocks? I can imagine it's going to be in the rocks. That's where they built the caves are. So it's not going to be just a hole in the ground. Not like Black Chasm where it was just a hole in the ground that opens up into a huge cavern system. Oh yeah. Lots of meadows. There's nobody back here. There's the road. Watch for ticks. Wait, look. Just over here. Just look. See the rocks?
Yeah.
Whoa. No, but I'm gonna look just because there's a lot of rocks. Whew. Flowers too. And you know, there are Bigfoot that live back in here, Bigfoot-like creatures, and so it is worth coming back here, even if it's for just a brief glance, to see if we find any Bigfoot evidence, because they would live in caves like these, no doubt. What do we got here? Oh man, it's overgrown. Jared! Man, it's easy to get lost. I don't know anymore. It goes 4 different directions. Wow. Well, Jared. I'm going to cut across. It goes 4 different ways. Do you see me? Dude, it goes 4 different ways. Yeah, and it's just woods with piles of rocks. The hole to this place could be anywhere, dude. See anything? Alright, let's start heading back this way. We looked. Only he might know where it is. Only the locals seem to know where the people who live around here for years. They kind of know where the mines. There's mining districts in these semi-ghost towns everywhere, and the mining districts happen to be hidden in over a lot of woods overgrowth that was back in the day. This was all cut down for the miners. These are old mining roads, and now look, it's just so overgrown and forgotten. We'll never find those caves or mines. But my point is, this type of rock that you see, it's a sure sign that there are probably cave systems in the area, because wherever this type of marble and rock is found is more than often where there's chasms and cavern systems, like the one we visited today. So we're gonna head on out of here. It's overgrown, there's ticks, there's snakes. We really need to be careful. Just went hiking in the woods behind Volcano. It's not like we did anything else but enjoy the hike. Huh? So I couldn't find the Diggins, folks, but you know, you get another hike through the woods where you get to kind of see what Bigfoot country looks like in the Sierra foothills. It's a jungle. This is not a normal terrain. I can tell you this is not a normal woods. It's very rugged, harsh, and there's a lot of spikes. There's a lot of prickles and thorn brush and things that can cause infection, and poison ivy and poison oak and all. But you know, we still walk back here, and it's a nice little area. I've never been in the woods behind Volcano too much. Did a little hiking before. Yeah, see, there's that road there. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, look, it meets up.
Huh?
Meets up with the road.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It could be down there too, farther down. I don't know how far of a walk it is. It might be an hour's walk for all we know. Down that road. Might be on the hillsides too. So make sure when we go down we look. Easy to get lost back here. People don't realize it, dude, but this is a wilderness. A very rugged one. And there's a lot of Bigfoot sighted, or at least Bigfoot tales back in this area and strange things. So, you know, it is what it is. But this is the terrain around Black Chasm Cavern. It's very woodsy, full of brush, ivy, and there's a lot of caves and granite rock formations where something might have a hole that they go down underneath and go into maybe an undiscovered cavern system, or even Black Chasm a couple miles down the road. Just food for thought. So we're heading back. We're going to go to the ghost town of Clinton, fire up the grill, you know, make a day of it. I wonder if it's over there. We'll check by the water tower up here too, because my friend said it's by the water tower, so we'll look by the water tower. Of course, maybe he doesn't even know. I mean, just because you come here don't mean you're good at giving directions. There's a million roads. There's probably deer cams back here too. Probably got my photo. He's trespassing. Well, not really. I mean, there's a lot of woods and down fences, so define who owns what here, I don't know. But we'll take pictures and leave nothing but footprints. This is Lord Rick traveling the overgrown road. Oh, wait a second, dude. That looks like it right there. I can't tell, but there's like a rock face. We need to look. Here. We're going down in the ravine, folks. So take a quick look. There's some wood boards and such. Wow. Dude, there is signs humans are there. Look, there's even a pipe It could be this way, dude. I don't know.